The LGBTQ plus IA, all of the, like I like to call it alphabet soup, as we tend to call it, break up down into multiple different identities. It's important to say that these also within each one are very different for each person, how we define.
L is for lesbian, so that is a woman who is attracted to another woman. And then we come to G, which is gay, and typically that refers to a man who is attracted to another man, but it might also refer to a woman who is attracted to another woman. They choose to use the term gay rather than lesbian. B is bisexual, so that is a person who is attracted to a man or a woman.
Bisexuality is attraction to more than one gender. It doesn't have a whole list of criteria that you need to meet, and that can mean whatever it means to you.
Then we have T, and that's not really a sexual orientation, that's a gender identity. So that refers to transgender, or trans for short. Q is an interesting one because it can stand for either questioning one's own sexual orientation or indeed one's gender identity. Or it can also mean queer. So that's a term that originally meant something that was either weird or strange, but in the infamous trial of Oscar Wilde many years ago, that was the first time it was used as a slur to refer to somebody's sexual orientation. So for many years that stuck as being a slur, and for older people it still remains quite uncomfortable. But younger generations of queer people who don't associate themselves with LGB or T are using it and reclaiming the term.
Also intersex, so people who are born with more than one particular sex characteristic, i.e. they may present as a female, however they have XY chromosomes, which are male chromosomes.
The most widely used definition of asexuality is experiencing a lack of sexual attraction towards anyone, regardless of their gender. So it is a sexual orientation, but it's the kind that isn't really oriented anywhere.
So the plus is a really important one, and this refers to any other sexual orientations or gender identities or forms of gender expression that don't sit under the main ones that I've mentioned so far. So there are a whole variety of different expressions and identities that live under the umbrella.
We quite often get caught up on the labels of LGBTQIA+, and actually each person's identity within that is very different and can vary hugely as to what they see themselves as, if they identify as a bisexual or trans or non-binary, right? So I tend to use them as a guide versus as hard and fast rule and label.